What's happening? Andy here. I am joined today again by Dave Farrell from PaperCut. Dave, thanks for joining us. How are you today?
I'm great, Andy. I figured I'd sport the new hat that you sent me yesterday, so I'm going to break it out.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing. I told you I'd get you a hat for the next one. So
You did. I didn't know it would come in time for our next discussion, but hey.
yeah, perfect. So Portland, I know we're in Western New York. We're starting. I don't know if there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but we're starting to see something down the road, and we're easing up, and people are outside, and I think our numbers are actually doing okay compared to other areas. How are you guys doing?
I think we were pretty conservative when it came going into this thing to begin with. So we were on it early. Actually, the thing that concerns me a little bit is we've seen our numbers rise in the last few weeks here. And so cautiously optimistic, but we're kind of back into our phase one plans. So we're all still remote for the office and whatnot. Can't get back in yet.
So you're home. Did you actually get back to the office for a little bit?
No, we talked about it right about the time getting plans kind of organized. What's our plan? What's our backup plan? And we did a lot of that work. And to be honest, I don't think we'll be back till September minimum back in the office. That would be my guess.
So the big question really is, where does this leave the hangman game you have going with Intel in the building across the street? Just for all you guys who don't know, when I visited PaperCut, what seems like a lifetime ago, but earlier this year, the funniest thing to me was they had hangman going back and forth across the street. The next building is Intel, right? And you guys had this game going with them, and I just thought that was it Post-it notes? I don't remember what you were
doing. We ended up going from Post-it notes to big whiteboards with hangman. I don't think we've ever met them personally. It's Google's puppet team. So that's the group. And yes, we still do hangman games. But not anymore. They're off, and we're off back working from home. That was months ago.
Hangman from home, I guess. So how is PaperCut with the print management? And I know some of the things, the stories you had going on earlier. We talked about. I interviewed ACDI, and they mentioned the opportunities they were finding in triage units. And what's the print management world like now with people working from home? What does that do to security and all that? Where do you fit in with this?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good one because I know we're going to get to our upcoming release 20.0, but a couple of points on that area. First of all, I think a little bit of hope, and we're all in this industry, we're looking for any threads of hope that we have. A couple of things I've been looking at in terms of our leading indicators. Mid-April was when we hit our low point overall in terms of just about any metric you look at. And actually the last 7 weeks, every week, our web traffic to papercut.com has risen. So we are definitely seeing that spike up, which is great. Our customer care ticket volume is back to almost where it was pre-COVID, which is unbelievable. Our renewal rates have been actually very high and hanging in there. I think that speaks to a lot of end customers are just like, how do I keep that software going rather than get into something entirely new? So they're renewing. So all in all, good stuff. We're definitely seeing some recovery. We're even seeing that in some of our page counts for things like PaperCut views and other products we have. We're starting to see ramp ups. So look, there's life there. We are certainly off this bottom and starting to see some recovery.
So, it's interesting that you say that, and I know it's the dealers are starting to feel it depending on where they are, and things are getting better in some areas and things are still hunkered down in others. But one of the things we talked about, and it was a recurring theme on every one of my interviews, it's the training, right? So, and you had mentioned, I think when we did this first interview, I think it was April, and by April you had already surpassed all the training modules, or people who had gone through training all of last year. You had already surpassed in April. So, to hear that your numbers are actually doing fairly well, you've got a lot of people who've got some real fresh content and training and understanding of the technology, and they've had nothing to do but sit down and watch these videos, right?
Which is incredible. And we found that throughout the network, people had time on their hands, so let's up level. So those first 6 weeks, we turned content like crazy. I'd say I get asked this question actually a lot, especially if we go down the reseller community or we're talking to OEMs or we're together with our ASCs. Question I get all the time is, what are we doing in response to this changing work environment of probably a hybrid in the end, some at home and in the office? So I thought I'd mention a couple of those things because that's something we've certainly matured since last time we spoke, and I'll hit these just at the highest level. First of all, I get the question around, are you tracking at-home print? And I'll be honest, we have not seen an outpouring, and I'd love to hear from your viewers and whatnot, whether they're getting this, but there will probably be a world that emerges where some companies will seed devices at people's home and probably cover some of their expenses. So what we've done is we've taken PaperCut views, done some additional work to that. It's a free product that's on our webpage, or papercut.com, and that allows you to just track page counts. So we've put that out there. That's been helpful to just get visibility of all those A4s and single function devices that are sitting in your office right now. So
Yeah.
we have got some visibility there, which is cool. The other one I've heard about is contactless print, right? So we've heard a lot more outpouring for our mobile print solutions, where you can release from your device.
Yeah.
And that way you're not touching the printer when you do go back in there. We'll talk about another one today when we get into 20.0. But the other one that's really changed, the infrastructureless, right? IT infrastructure reduction. I think that theme will only accelerate through this. So we've done a lot of training work remotely on our flagship product to make sure people have an easier experience of hosting it in their own whatever cloud platform they want to do that in. And that really helps the sysadmins out there in the world. And then, as you said, the remote enablement, all the training, I mean, we way surpassed 2019 in our level 1 and level 2 training supports, but we've taken all of our content for the reseller community and we've changed that so it's available remotely. And that's just been really well received.
Well, it's nice they're not just killing hours sitting there in front of a video. Like, these videos, apparently, these training sessions are obviously working, because your numbers at a time where they, I think should be sliding a little bit, seem to be coming back, right? And the only excuse I can think of is you've got people who understand the technology better. You're on the verge of this new release, which is what we're about to talk about. And I just think they're more educated now than they were 6 months ago, because they just didn't have anything else to do, right?
You're absolutely right. Now, I'll add another one on here along those lines. The number of conversations we've had about adjusting our software pricing model so it fits better into alternative ways of charging out to end users. Cost per page, when you're so dependent on page counts in environments like this, and whether 10% of the workforce never go back or 20%, somewhere in that range, we're having a lot of discussion. So we're even taking our flagship products. We'll be announcing some subscription pricing so that it's easier to get into annual renewals and things of that nature, so you can fit into different business models. And we've had a lot of discussion with our partners around those.
Well, that type of pricing is just, everyone's used to it. You do it in every part of your life, your phone, everything is a subscription now. And it's an easy way to, monetize and keep that recurring revenue stream recurring, right? So
Definitely.
It's just easier for everybody. So I'm sure
Definitely.
your resellers will appreciate that. But I want to ask you now, let's get into it. The reason we have you on today, and the big news is I think you said Wednesday you go live, right?
Wednesday.
So
That's
the
right.
biggest, the best, the most in-depth, intense PaperCut version ever, 20.0, right?
That's right.
20.0, and it will be out live Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Tell me what this is. Why do we care? Why is it?
Yeah. No, this is a good one.
I've had it on my website now for 2-3 weeks, just teasers from both your resellers, Echo Print Q, ECDI. So we're ready.
Awesome. No, we're ready to talk about this. I mean, here we are in June, right? Towards the end of June. Usually we're out with our .0 release much earlier, but out goes the timelines in an environment like this. So what we did, we thought it was better to take a pause and make sure we're relevant for the road ahead, both at the reseller OEM enablement level, but also at the end user level. So we'll talk through a few of those things. A couple of things we're excited about, and I'll just kind of hit the headlines here. First of all, and we've spoken a bit about this, but we've had a concerted effort. We're going to go after healthcare in a much more concerted way. And there's lots of reasons for that. Sure, it's a big market, but it also plays nice to a bigger purpose. And that's a big part of what PaperCut is all about. So we just, and you'll see this in 20.0, again, it's live tomorrow. We did an Epic integration. So now that's our time for the electronic medical records, the EMRs. You look, most market share says that Epic is the largest, especially in the States. So we partnered with them, and we are now live in their Epic App Orchard environments. That means you can print through the Epic print servers, and you'll have all of the elements that you're going to need to have your PaperCut products work, and this has been great. Just putting that up on the Epic App Orchard, we've had a number of a flood of customers calling in saying, hey, I see you deal with Chromebooks as well, and will you help us out with that, which is a critical part of what we're doing alongside Macintosh and the Windows supports. So we're going to stay in healthcare. We're going to go down that. We put dedicated subject matter experts. We have dedicated development team. We're going to go in and enable our partners to help win in healthcare. So big space for us,
So
which is
healthcare,
cool.
obviously a huge place to be in right now, and you couldn't have picked a better one with, I know Chris wasn't Nostradamus here thinking healthcare is going to be hugely important in 6 months, but you nailed it, right? So,
Yeah,
but that's not the only piece of this, right? There's other big parts of it, other components. Could you talk about the Microsoft piece? I know that's going to be Universal Print's going to be a big part with the news that Microsoft was stepping back late last year. Or earlier this year.
so you got Google. So Google took a step back from their Google Cloud Print.
That's what
and so we're going to talk about that one as well. But from a Microsoft perspective, Microsoft Universal Print, this is really Microsoft's way of saying, hey, in an Azure environment, how do we make you getting set up and managing your print infrastructure easier? So it's called Microsoft Universal Print. So you'll see as part of 20.0, we've been partnering really closely with Microsoft so that our products are ready to go in a Microsoft Universal Print environment. What I would encourage your viewers to do, if you go on papercut.com and you scroll down, you're going to see what's called a PUP, P-U-P, and one of our really cool product managers named Jamie. He is gathering names, so you can just hit a join now, and you'll be up to speed both technically and commercially on where the whole Microsoft Universal Print thread is going. So good for all your viewers to really dive in and take a look at. But when you talk about the Google front, one of the big areas, they're still planning to deprecate, to the best of our knowledge, Google Cloud Print. And we got a lot of users out there running Google Cloud Print. So they'll deprecate that at the end of this calendar year. So we repivoted part of our strategy to make sure we could be a seamless transition into our mobility print solutions. And one of the big ones that we pivoted on is what's called Cloud Print or Cloud Print Offline. And that actually, I'm surprised at how many questions we're getting about that as we've gone out to our channel about 30 days before this, just to get them ready with the release before general availability this Wednesday. So let's take this, Andy. I mean, primary use case. You're a student and you're at home, and you're going to be going in on Tuesdays and Thursdays to your class environment coming into fall. You'll be taking remote classes the rest of the time. I think there's a lot of industries that are kind of like that. So what you want to be able to do is print that big document. You got to read your HBR articles or whatever else you have to do. So you'll print from home. You're off network. So you're out of the school. You're printing from home. You printing off network, and then you're going to release that print job when you go in on that Tuesday or that Thursday. We've enabled that to work from Chrome, Microsoft, and the Macintosh environments. And that is a huge one for Google Cloud Print users. So that's big for us.
So I had notes in there, and I just have to clarify because she did put it in there and she sent it along, so we should reference it, right? 10 million users of this BYOD solution. Is that 10 million PaperCut users?
Yes, just 10 million PaperCut users alone on our mobility print. Yeah, and I would expect as we come into this new environment, mobile release or release from another device other than touching I wouldn't be surprised if that number doubles quickly. And that's an area where it's already in the product. It's ready to go. So mobility solutions are a big part of the value prop as we go back in. So excited about both those fronts from a cloud print perspective.
And the last
really help.
that I was told to ask about deployment. I heard that got a big makeover as well. So is the deployment, what's easier about it? What's better about it?
Yeah, so we came in about 1.5 years ago with Print Deploy, and what that is about, our theory was you want to manage the printer. We're already managing prints. So people want help with new users coming in, and they want to have the right queue, put the right place at the right time, print queue, and have all those settings done for them. This is a tool to help sysadmins do that. What we're doing that's unique in 20.0 is we've deployed a little client that enables end users to self-serve better. So I'll give you an example, easiest way to do it. You're in a building, it's called Building C. Your sysadmin might say, okay, I'm going to map all the printers that are available in Building C, and I'll give the floor numbers in a little meta tag on each of those printers. When you come in as a new user and you identify that you're in building C, what'll pop up is a list of printers with location as an example, and you as an end user, click on the 3 that you care about. This one's next to the water machine, the coffee maker. This is next to my best buddy. You click those 3, set your default printer, and all those finishing options are already put in there. And the sysadmin didn't have to go in and map all that or take that terrible phone call in their support ticket that says, how do I get my queues to work properly? And we do that regardless of device. It doesn't matter what you're bringing to the table, we'll manage that flow for you. So that's a big step forward.
Right? It's not a Xerox, a Ricoh, a Sharp, it's all of them.
All of them. That agnostic to any device, we don't care. And we support all those devices. Along those lines, we finally got our support. So thank you to our friends at Lexmark. We have integrated scanning support. So that means you can use the PaperCut native software application and user interface for all scanning functions, scanning OCR and the like on Lexmark devices. And that was the last major brand that we got supported now, and we're good to go.
All right. So
yeah,
big step forward for 20.0.
Yes, definitely.
And so when did the education on this start? Is this starting with the launch, or have you been kind of dropping little bits of this on your salespeople, on your dealers' salespeople?
Yeah. So what we'll do is we tend to follow about a 90-day in advance, 60-day in advance of launch. We'll go to kind of the premier partners, those that have to enable others in the channel, like our authorized solution centers. And they will get prepped, and then they scale that message out to all of our thousands of resellers globally. And we do that. Channel availability was about 30 days in advance. That's an opportunity to test drive the software if you're in the channel. So if you go to our partner portal on papercut.com and you're one of our partners, you'll be able to download the latest version in there. All the training material's been updated. You'll be good to go. But more importantly, if you're an end user, starting on Wednesday, you can download 20.0 and you'll be up and running.
So I'll have in my Thursday newsletter, I will, and on the website on Wednesday, I'll put links to that free download for all of you watching this. But it sounds like it took a huge step forward, and you know, it's you know, you're going the right direction with healthcare, obviously. You know, it's just sort of the old PaperCut on steroids and another big step forward. This has been a great update. I appreciate you taking the time. I'm blown away that you guys are able to pull this together, and not just you, but all the companies in our industry that are, some of them undergoing major launches as well. Konicas and Ricohs last week had some really, really big launches. And, you know, you look at that and you think, I don't know how these guys are doing that with, you know, everybody working from home, and not just you working from home in Portland, but you're working from home in Brisbane and Portland and Melbourne. And actually I meant Melbourne, not Brisbane, but I'm sure you
we do have one. We have one in Brisbane as well.
I'm sure you have people all over the place. So dozens of countries throughout the world, and now everybody's home. But, you know, I guess if anybody can figure out how to do mobile and you know, it should be you, right? Of course. Thanks so
and
much.
I think that's one of the areas that's making all of us stronger. I mean, I mean, this is not fun. I have to admit, not seeing people face to face is a hard thing, and I'm sure we'll have tons of studies about how this is screwing up our livelihoods. But but we're able to manage, right? We're able to cope and remotely work and adjust, and I mean, we're resilient. You know, I think this whole industry is resilient.
I think this has been awesome. Any last shout outs? Any last words for the viewers before we finish up?
No, just I think, you know, get excited about healthcare in our space. This is not a flash in the pan for us. You're going to see us go at this hard for a long period of time. Do your prospecting around Google Cloud Print. Lots of users right now who are facing that. They were expecting to have the last few months to plan for Google Cloud Print deprecation. Well, they don't have that luxury anymore. They've been working on other things like getting their remote teams up and running. We are dialed in. Our replacements for Google Cloud Print is tested and ready to go. And I think I'm excited probably for a further discussion. We'll talk through some of the things we're doing to make that hybrid work environment more tenable. You know, there's going to be people from home and office and a mixture of the two, and you got to be ready for that, you know. So those are the pieces I've got.
I agree. Well, for all of you watching this, thank you for taking the time to watch this. You can learn more about PaperCut's 20.0 on my website or on papercut.com. I have several articles now. I have the Epic article that we discussed earlier with the healthcare integration that these guys are doing now. That's just really taking off. And there will be plenty of news on there as of Wednesday on the launch and as this is rolling out. So thanks so much. Good luck with Wednesday, and we're going to catch up soon, Dave. Take care.
Thanks so much, Andy. I appreciate it. Good catching up.
Definitely. Take care. Bye-bye.